Hey, what's up guys? It's Fireball Jack here. So, I wanted to make this video and go a little bit more into depth of the tier list that I just made recently. So, we're going to start. I've made this list a little bit more detailed, and I plan to make this a three-part video. So this first is just going to be the tanks. Just the Vanguards of the game at the moment. So, let me pull it up real quick. Here's the entire tier list so you can see. Alright. Let's start with the top, the hardest possible matchup against the Thing. Groot. Now, why is Groot so strong? It's not because of the damage. Now, if you remember my previous video, Groot is not beating you because he deals, you deal more damage to him. Mainly, the way Groot beats you is because of his walls. So let me explain what I'm talking about here. So, if you're playing the Thing, one of the most important things you have is line of sight. Why is that important? Simple. Line of sight allows you to charge away or charge in if needed. And line of sight, most importantly, gives you the ability to jump in or away to a teammate. Groot's wall basically invalidates that. What do I'm talking about? So, if you remember my guide, my first part guide of Thing, one of the biggest mistakes you can do as any tank, but really the Thing in this game a lot more, is overcommitting. Biting off more than you can chew. And Groot just emphasizes that more than any other tank. Let me explain why. So, if you're playing against Groot, and Groot walls your team off from behind because you're just a little bit too forward, well, the Thing has no way to get back to his team. Unless his team destroys the wall, which has about 250 health, the Thing is dead. He's an ult battery. He is just a sitting duck. He can use his charge to give 200 health, but he can't really effectively kill that wall before the entire enemy team, or at least just Groot, another tank, and 2 DPS, wail on the Thing, making the Thing a really hard play. Let me tell you, I played enough games at a Grandmaster level to realize that a good Groot makes you change the way you play the Thing. When you're seeing a Groot, you either have to be crazy offensive, which doesn't work most of the time, or you have to be super defensive, meaning you are purposely, or I guess how could I say it better, you are effectively making less space and less disruption, which is Thing's entire gimmick. If you're not making space and causing tons of disruption, you're not getting the most value out of the Thing. The Thing has no way to jump away like Hulk, or fly away like Strange, or have the ability to shield himself like Magneto. It's basically impossible. Alright? So, anyways, if you're ever getting dumpstered, like I said last video, just pick Groot. You're going to make that Thing's life so much harder than you actually know. Let's get into the next one. So, bring it up here, Magneto. So he's in a soft counter, same as Doctor Strange. So let's start with Magneto. Personally, I think these two are interchangeable, and it's because they're soft counters. They're not really going crazy. They're not counter-picking you, but they have advantages most of the time. An example, Magneto is considered a poke tank in this meta, which means overall, Mag can always shoot you and damage you before you can really damage him. So, why is that important? Let me explain and go into a little bit further detail. As Magneto, you're a high damage tank, about medium to close range. Your mag cannon does not push the Thing, but still deals pretty solid damage. You have the ability to bubble yourself or teammates, making them invincible for about 3 seconds, which is really strong, especially if the Thing is on one of your teammates or about to kill them. And you have a shield. Now, while the shield doesn't do too much, it's still nice to have the shield because you're able to defend yourself outside of just the Thing. Because remember, you're not just fighting the Thing here, you're fighting the Thing and his teammates. Anyways, that's kind of where the positives end. Really, the only positive Magneto has is just doing slightly higher burst damage sometimes, and the ability to attack more consistently and more often compared to the Thing. Doctor Strange, on the other hand, has less survivability, but has much better AOE damage. Again, we've all seen the mouse 1 into melee combo. I would argue that Doctor Strange's ult is much stronger compared to Magneto's, especially when you're using it against the Thing. Again, you can't really kill the Thing unless you have a really high charge. But Doctor Strange can just almost always just use his ult and effectively kill the Thing if it's possible. So, why do I say that's their only advantages? Their shields don't block physical attacks, so it's a pointless thing. They do have mobility, like flying away or bubbling themselves to save themselves, so there's some sort of survivability. But the most important thing that gets them away from counterpicking you is that their shields do not block the Thing's ult. Clobbering time goes underneath all shields. It does not care. The only thing that stops clobbering time is hard cover. Now, let me go back to Groot real quick. The reason why Groot is strong again is because Groot walls count as hard cover. If the Groot sees that you're about to play really offensive, or you're just playing a little bit more ballsy, if he throws a wall up and you unfortunately throw your ult, that ult is canceled. Unlike Magneto or Doctor Strange, who they might be holding their shield up and it passes right underneath. That's why I believe there's soft counters. Now, the next tier is annoying to deal with. Now, what does that mean? Not sure if it's exactly harder or easier to kill these characters because they're just annoying. So let me go into a little bit of detail on what's annoying to deal with. You're never really going to be fighting Venom or Peni sometimes. It's kind of on their own terms. And when I mean annoying to deal with, I mean the fact that there's something very, very important you have to understand. When you're fighting Venom or Peni, everything is very context sensitive. Let me explain why. If Venom is just in the front line, I mean, he's nothing too hard to deal with. Now, Venom, if he does is very good at getting headshots, he can kill you quite quickly. It's about 7 seconds if he's just getting all headshots, but that's not fully realistic. But he's not that big of a deal. He's probably even weaker than the likes of Thor. But if Venom is diving your backline, while yes, you have the ability to stop him, a good Venom is going to be able to get away most of the time. He's going to drop in, do some damage, pop his shield, and unless your team heavily focus him, there's a good chance he's getting away. Now, you did stop his value slightly. You are making his life harder, but at the same time, he did just gain a lot of space. Maybe not as long, but again, he's annoying to deal with. And Peni. Now, personally, I think Peni is not a great tank in this game, but it all depends on context. Thing is a melee tank, meaning if you just find Peni out and about, it's not that hard of a kill. She does have the ability to stun you for about half a second, every 3 seconds, but you should be fine. You should be able to kill her before she kills you. You have more abilities and stuff like that. She might try to run away, but really, inherently, it's not that annoying. The annoying part is once she set up her mines. If she sets up her mines and her team and herself is very coordinated, it's very hard to kill Peni. Peni gets a speed boost, Peni gets health. It makes her really annoying because the only way you're going to kill it is by taking tons and tons of damage by the little spider bots. So, well, it's not your job to kill that thing. It should be more your ranged DPS or maybe even ranged tanks. You're going to have an issue. It's going to be really hard for you to be able to beat Peni in that scenario. That's why I have it annoying to deal with. Now, let's get into the next one. Mostly even. So what do I mean mostly even? It's very simple. Mostly even means it can kind of go both ways. It's about a 50-50. So let's go into it a little bit. We have Hulk first. Now, personally, I think the Hulk has a slightly better team-up than the Thing. And the mobility is very, very handy. Hulk can always jump in and out of combat whenever needed, unlike the Thing where he needs to jump to a teammate. Hulk has the ability to exile you, which, if you're not aware, if you're exiled, will not count you on the point or objective or anything like that. So it can be, you know, in certain case scenarios, really bad, and also just takes you out of the fight, meaning you're not getting your ult charge, you're not doing damage, you're not doing anything. You don't exist for those seconds that you're exiled. Besides that, it's a pretty even matchup. You have slightly higher damage sometimes if you mix in your jabs and your haymaker. You might have slightly better abilities in some certain scenarios. You know, if you use your shift and keep the Hulk grounded, he can't really run away, but again, he has the ability to stun you. So again, it's a mostly even matchup. It's kind of on site. Anyways, that's what I believe, that Hulk stays there. Now, Thor. Thor's an interesting case. Thor is a really, really heavy damage dealer when it comes to being a tank. But you kind of do still bully him to an extent, because remember, you're trying to get Rune Awakening as Thor a lot of the time, but you can't push tanks away and create space, especially against the Thing. Remember, the Thing has a passive that doesn't allow him to be pushed, meaning Thor is still gaining that bonus health, but he's not gaining the space. He's kind of just hitting a brick wall over and over, and while it's not bad, it's not good either. The only thing Thor really has that works against the Thing is Rune Awakening, which deals heavy amounts of damage, and if you're not on top of that as the Thing, trying to avoid or at least trying to do something about it, Thor can take you out pretty fast. Personally, though, with the ability to stop him from running away or, you know, just keep him kind of grounded, unless you get flanked or absolutely just he comes out of nowhere, Thor shouldn't really be that big of an issue. Once Rune Awakening, once he's missed 3 to 4 shots, it's kind of just cleanup time. He doesn't have any possibility to fly away and get bonus health. He's just kind of an easy kill, but it's pretty even. Now, of course, the Thing is even against the Thing. I would say it's a skill difference, but I don't think it's a skill diff most of the time. Of course, there are times that a skill diff does matter, but most of the time, it's a team diff. You know, if your team is helping you, you're going to diff the other Thing. If the other team is better and helps their Thing, you're going to get diffed. It's really hard to diff a Thing when his team is helping him a lot. Now let's get into the last category for this one. Easy to beat. So, easy to beat just means that's just a simple thing. You either remove a lot of pressure from them very fast, or there's not much they can really do. So, Captain America, even though I love Cap. Great. I think he's one of the best one of the better tanks in this game. He doesn't get a lot of value against the Thing. He can still jump in, he can still dive, but he can't dive as often, especially if Thing is very aware. And Cap can't really fight against the Thing. If we look back, right, Hulk, Thor has the ability to fight back. Penny, if she has her mines, has the ability to fight back. I mean, her spider nest, but her mines as well. Magneto, Strange, Groot, they can almost always fight back because they have abilities or things or gimmicks that make playing the Thing harder. But Cap really doesn't. Once you get grounded, the best thing you can do as Cap is just walk out of the grounded state and then run away. Because if you don't, you'll just die. And normally the caps that I've seen, I haven't seen a lot of caps, they tend to play very different. Instead of really just constantly going into the back line, they're playing for very specific points when you're the thing and you're playing really far ahead. But even then, their chances are really low because all you need to do is think to yourself, I'm in the front line. Why am I not getting healed? Look behind. And if your healers are fighting someone, especially if it's Captain, you just jump over to them. And now Captain can't really do anything. He might be able to score a kill, but you'll probably scare him off. So, that's what I think. Now, with the Vanguards, I really don't think there's any tomato cans. So let me explain what a tomato can is. A tomato can is basically just a boxing term where it's an easy kill. Easy win. You're expected to beat this guy. Now, of course, with all these things, context is very important. Team comp is very important. Every situation is very important. It's not like you're dominating as the thing, and they choose Groot, and now you're just nothing. He hasn't fully counterpicked you. It's not like you're absolutely worthless. You can win as the thing against Groot. Same thing goes for Cap. You can win against the thing, but you don't really have a lot of options. That's what I'm trying to say with this. So, hopefully, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I will gladly go into a little bit more depth there needed, but I feel like this is a pretty good spot. So again, just a quick recap. Groot is strong just because he can wall you off, making your overcommitment even easier to accidentally do. Magneto and Doctor Strange are strong, primarily just because they can poke you out and damage you from afar. But they don't really have any other advantages besides just being solid tanks. We have Venom and Peni, who are annoying to deal with, not because they're technically better than you, but they're better in certain cases. There's higher highs, but lower lows. Venom is always going to be kind of a nuisance to you since you'll be constantly jumping back, giving up space. And Peni is going to be really hard to deal with if her spider nest is up, but they're just annoying in certain contexts. We have our mostly evens, which is Hulk, Thor, and the Thing. You kind of just, it's an even fight. I wouldn't say it's exactly full skill, of course, because there's tons of things that matter. But, you can both fight each other, you can brawl, you can see who wins, and that's just how it goes. There's no crazy things. It's not like the Hulk can wall you off. It's not like Thor can, shield his teammates. It's a mostly even fight. And then we have our last one, of course, easy to beat, Captain. He just doesn't get a lot of value, especially when he's constantly getting dove back. And unlike Venom, and I should have brought this up a little bit sooner, but unlike Venom, Venom gets to swing away in the air. Captain gets a dash and a shield bash. He'll probably use one to get into the back line. And while his sprint is fast, it's not faster than the Thing's sprint. Now, of course, one's infinite, one's not. But Cap is a lot easier to wrangle in, unlike Venom. Especially if Venom is playing at a very, very good rate. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one, which I'll be doing DPS as the next one. See ya.
switch things up, including which side you're on. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one. The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2... All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Do not lose sight of that.
Like lambs to the slaughter.
Got 99 rounds. Time for a push.
Gotcha.